Hello.
Hey, what's going on, y'all?
Nothing much.
Hello.
All right, fire away.
Coach, what are a couple of keys, a couple of non-negotiables for you guys to be successful this year, as the season approaches after, another long off season?
Yeah, I mean, I think for us to be successful this season, we have to be tough, both mentally and physically. We have to be able to get through the ups, the downs, the ebbs and flows of this season. And the only way to do that is to have a level of toughness, but also a level of togetherness. We are not meant to be doing this alone. We don't play one-on-one basketball. So in order to really find some success this year, we have to be tough and we have to stay together.
When it comes to togetherness specifically, do you feel like you guys have a leg up on a lot of other teams with the amount of experience you have coming back, the amount of returners who saw significant playing time? Is that a main advantage for this group?
I mean, I think it could be, but I think the biggest thing is just our players buy-in to wanting to be together. So I mean, I don't know how it compares to other schools, to other teams, but what I do know is that we've put a lot of work in. We, as in our players, like they lead the charge on that. I tell them all the time, like, I give you guys the standard, but you guys uphold the culture, right? You make this what you want it to be. And I think our players did a really good job starting in the spring. The year did not end the way that we wanted it to end. And so in the spring, they decided that they wanted this to be different. They knew that we had an edge. This is the first time I've returned so many players that have played significant minutes. So we did know that we had that competitive advantage, but they wanted to make sure that we stuck together through all of it. So all summer, all spring, all preseason, they've done things together so that they can really build chemistry both on and off the court.
Alexa, can you follow up on that? Coach sort of passing the mantle to you guys and saying, look, you need to be intentional about your togetherness if this is going to work out. Can you elaborate on that as well?
Yeah, of course. I mean, like she said in the summer, just getting here, getting the freshmen acclimated. We did a great job of building our team chemistry through the summer into now, just like going over to everybody's houses, getting extra shots up together, helping them out with whatever they really need. And I don't think we had that much last year. So that togetherness was probably the key thing going into this year. And then in terms of on the court, it's really transitioning just because of how much time we spent together off the court. So yeah, that was just one of the bigger things.
You guys jump right in. You have Norfolk State, and then you're going to California, right? What what can you think you could gain just from a long trip like that? You talked about building chemistry. Obviously, when you're on the road like that, all you have is each other. Um,
Yes, I mean that it kind of was what it was in building our schedule. It wasn't very easy this season because people didn't know that we returned a lot. And especially early scheduling is always hard because you don't know how good or bad a team is going to be. So we struggled a little bit with our scheduling, but there were a couple of things. We knew that we wanted to challenge ourselves because the CAA is a very challenging league from top to bottom. It doesn't matter if you're playing against number 1 or number 14, it's going to be super competitive. And there are no nights off. There's no game that you can just circle like, yeah, that's going to be a win. That's just not the kind of league that we're in. So being able to play Norfolk State and then going out to California, Long Beach State is going to be a tough opponent, but UC Irvine is a mid-major top 25 team as well. So we have 2 top 25 teams in the first 3 games. And so there's no better way to battle test us than to jump right into the fire. We don't really like tiptoeing around here. We're just gonna full on commit and go for it, and then we'll grow every single game to prepare us for league play. Oh, and then also she's from Cali, so we just
yeah,
wanted to,
I was
yeah.
just going to say, Alexa, you're from California. I mean, I know it's not a pleasure trip; it's a work trip. But have you had a chance to play that close to home since you've been here?
Oh, never, Coach E. Like, I'm so thankful that, like, we get to go back home. My family gets to see me. Like, my high school team's all coming to the game. So it's a really special thing for me. And I mean, like she said, it's on the road. We're flying in. So it's going to be a big test to see how we battle and how it's going to work when we have to fly for trips in conference. So it's going to help get us ready. And we're excited. We're really excited.
Coachy, obviously, your team changes from year to year. You do have a number of holdovers, but is there any one area in particular that you've seen this team grow more over the last year, or is there a specific area that you think that this program needs to grow a little bit more as you move into this season?
Well, I think I have two answers for you. I think that our team has grown a lot within our culture. We talked a little bit about standards to start. I think that's the biggest thing when you're coming into a new program. You have to be able to set a standard, and everybody kind of has to buy into it. I think that over these last couple of years and going into year 3, the most interesting thing is that you have to rebuild it every year. And that's something that when you're coming into it, you don't really think about. You're like, once we have it, we have it. And then it's just going to stick with us from year to year. And that's not true, right? You have to really focus and build on it every single year. And so I'm very proud of how much we've grown just in that. This year already feels better than last year. Whether we win, lose, draw, doesn't matter. We know that we are growing as a team. On the flip side, where we need to grow more, I think, is in our mindset. We have this mindset. We're perfectionists. We're at William and Mary, so you're a very high academic person, which probably means you're somewhat of a perfectionist. And so when things don't go well, we tend to hit walls faster than I think we should, and that's a work in progress. I want them to understand that basketball is a game of mistakes. You're going to make mistakes. You are absolutely not going to be perfect. And if you're perfect, then you probably didn't take enough shots, right? If you're 5 for 5, why didn't you take number 6, right? And so just growing in that mindset, and also that we can be very good. We started when I first got here, we were preseason ranked low. We proved that we were better than that. Last year, we were preseason ranked low. We proved we were better than that. Now we're preseason top 4, right? And do we believe in that? Do we believe in ourselves enough to say, yeah, this is where we fought to be. This is where we belong, right? And so this is where I want us to continue to grow and just have that mentality that we belong here, that we've worked for this, and that we can continue to grow from here.
Coach, what you said was so interesting. I don't know if this is a fully formed question, but I do want to hear you elaborate on it a little bit. You talk about how inherent to being a student who's able to succeed at William and Mary is a certain degree of perfectionism. And then you paired that with, at times, a lack of self-belief. I know that sometimes in my life, some of the most intelligent people that I've come across do struggle with self-belief. I'm wondering if you think that is also, if there's a connection there as well, that maybe, I'm not really fully putting this to you, but I think you get what I'm saying.
I do. And I love that. I love that question. I think that it's a self-belief thing because you can't control what happens in a basketball game. But in school, you can control if you get a good grade or not, right? Like you can study really hard for a test and you can ace it. You can not study and you can fail it, right? That is completely in your control. But basketball is not, right? Like you can prepare, but you can't control what happens during the game, during shoot around, during a drill in practice. Like you could hope that it goes well, but you just don't know, right? And so I think where the self-belief or the doubt or the worry comes in is that I can't control this, that I can shoot 100 shots yesterday and it won't translate to me making shots today, or I can shoot the perfect formed shot and it still may miss. Right. And I think sometimes that's kind of where that doubt goes in. Like, what am I doing wrong? Why am I not making a shot? Well, sometimes you're just going to miss it. You might do everything right and you might miss it. It just is what it is. And so trying to get that, we're control freaks, right? Coaches, high academic players. We want to control everything and we can't. So I think it's just being okay, like relinquishing that control. Like we're just going to do our best. We're going to do our jobs to the best of our ability. And if we do that, then we're giving ourselves a chance to win.
Alexa, you're obviously an older player on the roster. What do you think the keys are for this team to be successful this year?
Kind of going back to what Coach E said, it's just the mentality that we're not just William and Mary anymore, that we're a very high level basketball team and we're supposed to win these games. We're not just playing to play. Like we are supposed to play these high level teams as well and come out and beat them. So I think that's just the number one thing. The number one key to win is just having that mentality. And I would say like togetherness, team chemistry, making sure we're translating what we have off the court on the court, because yeah, we have a lot of returners, but we also have 6 new people, 4 freshmen, 2 transfers. So making sure the people that were here last year are incorporating and making sure everybody's together with the new people. So that togetherness and that winning mentality is what we need for this year to win, I would say.
Coach E, you have a number of returners, and Alexa just mentioned the newcomers. From the returning group, is there any person or group in particular you're looking at and being like, this group is kind of going to lead the way for us? And then of that newcomer group, is there kind of anyone out of that group you're looking at being, that person can come in and make an instant impact for us?
Yeah, I think that's a very interesting question because the answer is yes and no. I think every single day there might be someone else that's kind of leading the charge, and I think that is the benefit of having a veteran team. Is that there may be a day where Alexa is not on her, she's not her best, right? And to know that we have another person that started a lot of games for us last year, that can step up and kind of help lead the charge. I think that's such a benefit that, we miss a lot, especially when you talk about the transfer portal and bringing in new players and all of that. And so to be able to have this veteran group, I mean, like I said before, it just benefits us. To answer your question more specifically, like Lex has started for me since she's gotten here. This is year 3 of her starting as a point guard, and the point guard does kind of lead the charge. I think that it's a lot of pressure. She can never have an off day, her, Monet, our other point guard. But it's important, right? Like we go how she goes, we go how Monet goes. And if they're not leading us, then we're gonna struggle. We're gonna hit some rough waters. From our newcomers, I mean, I think they're all still trying to figure it out. We have a system we're running that we've bought into, and it's a system that they have to learn still. And so I think that you're going to see some great things from all of them at some point. I think that it's just going to take some time. That transition from high school to college and the style of play that we have is hard to transition to. And so they're working every day. They've had some really good minutes in our scrimmages that we've had. And I think that, I mean, pretty much all of them should see minutes against Norfolk State, and if not, throughout next week for sure.
Alexa, to piggyback a little bit off what Coach said, you're, as I said earlier, third-year player. How much are you enjoying the comfortability and being part of Coach E's system? And then on top of that, what have you kind of tried to do with this younger group, this new group coming in to kind of help them, move along and learn the system a little bit better?
Yeah, I mean, it's especially nice being in my 3rd year, like not having to, not knowing what I'm getting into, especially in practices. Like that's especially where I can take charge, whether that's drills or, I mean, we've been implementing plays these last couple of weeks. I already know them. So it's so much easier for me to lead, to tell them where to go, stuff like that on the offensive and defensive end. So I would say that's the best thing about being a 3rd-year point guard is I already know it. I'm already comfortable with it, and I can lead better from it, lead better than I did last year, just because I'm more experienced now. In terms of just helping out the newcomers, I mean, like I said, it's comfortable now. I'm a better leader now, just because it is comfortable. And I mean, yeah, I'm just keep answering the same question, but that's pretty much all I can give you.
And she's worked really hard for that position.
Yeah.
Like it took a lot of ups, downs, bumps, bruises, starting, not starting, coming back in the lineup. Like it wasn't a smooth path for her to get here. I told her when she decided that she wanted to still come to William and Mary, even though there was a coaching change, I told her like, look, I was a point guard. So I'm going to be really hard on you because I know how important this position is and I know how good you can be, and so she's worked for this. She's earned it. And I think that she's also earned the respect of all of her teammates to lead them as well.
Last one for me, guys. And Alexa, you said that in the interest of building that chemistry, building that togetherness, you guys spend a lot of time at each other's places. I'm wondering who on the team has the best crib And why was it so much fun?
I'm biased. I just say me and Beck. We'll have karaoke nights, movie nights. Like we're gonna have like Halloween, just giving out candy to people tomorrow night. So, I would say we have the best crib. But other than that, Bella and KB for sure.
Coach,
But
have
yeah.
you been to Alexa's pad? Can you confirm this?
Have not been yet. I have not.
Oh, coach can't get the invite. What?
I cannot
She has had
confirm
the
or
invite.
deny.
But we'll have like recruits over there sometimes too. So it's a good environment to just be able to bring people back to our place, especially me and Beck being leaders and being able to host and all that stuff. So yeah.
Last one, because I saw you mention this earlier, Coach. You can play great defense, but if you don't end a possession with a rebound, that's not much good. How has that been coming along? I know you added some size in the offseason, and that was a point of emphasis for you.
Sure, it's been coming along. It's hard to tell because we practice against scout guys every day and they're bigger, faster, stronger, taller. And so it's a dogfight and a battle every single day. We had a scrimmage this past weekend where I think we only gave up like 5 or 6 offensive rebounds. So that made me feel like we are headed in the right direction. I think it's just a mindset. It goes back to that mindset. Like there's a way you could teach rebounding. Like, yeah, you stick, you turn, you box out, then you go get it. And that's all fine. There's, I guess, fundamentals to rebounding. But at the end of the day, you either want it or you don't, right? Like you fight, claw, whatever you got to do to go get that ball, right? You go and do it. And so I think as we continue to grow in that mindset, in that gritty, just like relentless mindset, I think that will also help us in rebounding. But the size does help. That is definitely for certain. Because a lot of people don't like boxing out. We're not the only team, but we were so small my first 2 years here that did just kind of hurt us a bit. So far so good. And hopefully we can really stay focused on that so that we can play the kind of offense that we want to play.
Thank you.
Anything else, guys? Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you all. Appreciate you guys.
Of course, thank you.
Thank you, Chris.
No problem. Thanks for jumping on, Connor. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.